Good evening from New York. I am Selwyn Collins, your host of CWS Journeys. Welcome to another edition. The lovely lady next to me is Dr. Alisha Griffith, who is a motivator and change agent. She has 20 years of experience of helping individuals overcome difficulties. Through her personal and professional experiences, she has learned critical lessons which has helped many. In her passionate way, she's able to help her clients become more confident, shift energy, spark your inner fire, and take action to be your authentic you. As a result, our clients will feel more accomplished and fulfilled in life. Wow. Welcome to CWS.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start by asking you this. When those close to you describe you, what do you usually agree with?
That when I enter the room, I bring a light.
Mm-hmm.
Most times people are around me, I'm usually smiling or laughing or in a really good mood.
You bring a light. If I were to ask you, beyond all the accomplishments and the awards and so on, how would you describe yourself? What would you say about you?
I would say I'm a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
I am very spiritual and connected to my inner self. I have learned to trust the vibrations within myself to lead me. And I've totally embraced that.
What I like to do on this show is to go into people's early timeline and then come up. I like to believe that each of us is a gem with many facets, but oftentimes, too often, people get a glimpse of one or two facets and they form an opinion. So what I like to do is to twist the gem and expose the various facets. So let me ask you this. You talk about vibrational frequency and paying attention and obeying that. When did you first come in touch with that or realize that there was something more than just flesh and bones?
I was raised in the spiritual church through my mom. We used to go to church on Saturdays, and my mom has always spoke about what was beyond seen. And as a young girl, I was like, what is this woman talking about? I think around the age of 14 to 15, when I was in high school, I remember going to her and asking her to become baptized at the church that we were going to at that moment, which was a spiritual church. And the reason I wanted to be baptized was because I felt that there was something greater. I didn't know what. I didn't have much answer to it, but I can say partially it's because I was raised in it, and then the other part, I began open to receiving it.
You were born in Guyana, born and raised.
No.
No? Where were you born?
I was born in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you're Guyanese by parentage?
Yes, yes.
Take us back then to Alisha Griffith at the age of 9 and then at the age of 15. Give us a glimpse into your life.
9, we had just came back from Guyana back to New York. I say back because I was born in America, but it was actually my first time coming back to America after being born and going back down to Guyana after 2-3 years of age. So at 9, I was a bright student, very, very talkative. I remembered my mom coming into school, and of course coming from Guyana, they wanted to put me into the lowest grade because I had a heavy accent. And my mom fighting them and telling them, no, why are you putting her into this grade because of this accent? And within a few months, I was elevated back to the level where I needed to be or where I should have been. But I remember just being so excited about America. It seemed like all the children were so ahead of things, and I just felt like I was a homegirl, like just coming with clothes that weren't name brand and just simple, and then seeing everyone in the classroom with things that they had, but we didn't quite have at that time.
And how did that make you feel?
I felt odd. I got teased. I remember specifically this boy, Kevin, used to call me 33 because I couldn't say 33. And I had an accent, a heavy accent. So at that time, having an accent in school wasn't cool. Yeah. So I was teased, and I was a quiet child until the point when I got comfortable with a few friends. And then within time, I began to grow into myself. I always chose like friends that were pretty smart or pretty with it. So even though the ones that would tease me would be the ones that are probably the ones getting in trouble, I found the friends that were people that I felt stimulated around. So then I would always get in trouble talking with them because we were always talking about something.
Tell us about the 15-year-old Alisha.
15 years old. That's senior year in high school. So I was skipped and I attended Clara Barton High School. I was in a medical science program. So 15-year-old was so much fun. I was very active in every organization in the school. I was a cheerleader, a booster. I was the president of the multicultural club, and very social, very, very social, into everything. Yet still academics was key. I was in the medical science program, which was pretty much the program where the students with the highest grades were in. And it was a group of focused but fun people.
Did you see that sort of boosting your self-esteem in comparison to when you were much younger and they teased you for your accent and, you know, your clothes and so on?
Yes, but by then, by high school years, being Caribbean was cool. So elementary, it wasn't cool, but once we got into high school, it was so, the school I went to was so crowded with such thick cultures. We had the Haitian crew and the Jamaicans, and it was just fun. So hence being part of the multicultural club was a cool thing.
What were your parents' reaction to you when you went home and told them how you felt? What words of advice either of them gave to you?
I don't think I told my mom initially. I think I kept a lot of things to myself. I always saw my mom as someone who was doing her best for us. So as a child, I really wanted to be a source of something to pull her down. So I don't think I told her much about it. My mom always made me feel like whatever I want, I can do. She always fostered me reading. She never hindered me in a way. So the fact that she was a social worker was pretty cool because we had a pretty open relationship as I grew up. But at that early age, I don't remember telling her much about the kids teasing me.
What is your favorite memory of your parents growing up?
Oh, man. Graduation. Graduation from college. They were both there because my parents separated when I was young. And they were both at my college graduation. They were both at my high school graduation, but I particularly remembered my college graduation and just seeing their faces looking so proud.
Mom, who are some other women in your life when you were growing up that have helped to shape this woman we have come to know as Alisha Griffith?
Wow. That's a good question. I would like to think it would be my mom's friends. I had Auntie Joycelyn, which was one of her friends. She was very encouraging with me. My mom kept a lot of people that were very jovial. So being around them, and she was heavy into church. So all the sisters, I would like to say Sister Evelyn, Sister Pat, I saw them every week. So they always looked at me as, Alisha, go get this, Alisha, go get that, because my mom and I were always together. Mm-hmm. So whenever they needed things done, I was around. So I looked up to them because I just love the fact that they had a really cool relationship with my mom. I love sitting in the back seat and just listening to them laugh and gaff and talk about people in church. And to me, I thought that that's what living is about, you know, just laughter and enjoying the moment. I didn't really see much arguing with them. So to me, that was a true sisterhood.
Knowing what you know now and working with women, we'll get to that in a moment, but I just want to make a comparison. To make a point, knowing what you know about women, when you reflect on those days, having access or being around, influenced by your mother's friends and so on, how important is that for a young girl to have women who are strong in their convictions, who, you know, believe in their womanness and their womanhood, to be around them? How important is that?
It is critical. Critical for young girls to see women in a positive light, to see women doing more than arguing, but embracing themselves, and the beauty of the different shades, where it wasn't just one shade, it was a rainbow of people, of women, and they believed in God. They always believed in God, so I think it's good to, or something higher than themselves. I think it's good to be surrounded by someone or women that respect something more than themselves, that don't just want to speak about themselves or speak about material things, but speak more about reverence to something else.
What is one thing you remember enjoying and you enjoyed doing with your mother when you were a child? One particular thing that sticks out.
Going to Chinatown.
To Chinatown?
Yes.
What was that? What was that like? An adventure?
It was an adventure. We went to Chinatown. It was definitely for Chinese New Year. I don't know how we decided that for Chinese New Year we were going to Chinatown, but my mother decided that every Chinese New Year we would go out and celebrate Chinese New Year's. And it was so cool because I remember being in 5th grade and having a teacher, Miss Jonathan, and celebrating Chinese New Year in class and bringing in things. And it made me realize that my mom was trying to be more cultural with me, to expose me to more than just Brooklyn, New York. Even though we couldn't go to China, to her, going to Chinatown was taking me to China.
You always light up when you mention your mom, and that really touches me because mothers are sacred to me. When you think of Guyana, I mean, you weren't born there, but your mom's from Guyana. When you think of Guyana, what goes through your mind?
I think of turmoil and pain, and I think of land of possibility.
Wow. I hope in some way or the other we'll be able to bridge that gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you were to eavesdrop your parents telling a stranger about you, let's start with mom. How do you think she would describe you?
That I'm strong-willed. That I am a go-getter. That I used to cry when I couldn't find my bus pass to go to school. And because I loved going to school so much, she would definitely say that I'm strong-willed.
And that?
Whatever I want, I put my mind to it and I go for it. And sometimes she's just like, you're crazy. But then she said she's learned to stop trying to stop me or limit me. She just let me do my thing because she knows somehow I will get it done.
Sometimes when people mention that they are strong-willed, I wonder how much of it, some folks like to say it's stubbornness, but I like to think it's creativity having such an impact on their psyche that it drives them towards whatever it is they desire or they envision they want. So I like to say creativity is more pushing than stubbornness actually pulling them.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. Here you are. doing so many different things. Audiologist, speech pathologist, motivational speaker. I'm going to stop there. What is it exactly you do?
Ooh. $1 million question. I help people with the gifts that were given to me.
I love that. You have just lit several lamps. I love that. Can you repeat it one more time?
I help people with the gifts that were given to me.
Which one of these professions gives you the most satisfaction?
That is the hardest question, because each profession I chose with my heart, and I love each one. As I go to work and I serve children with hearing impairments, and I see them turn on to hear sound, it lightens up my day.
Yes.
As I see a child that I have started with them from an infant not be able to communicate, and then have the ability to speak or communicate what they want to have, that lights up my day. As I stand and I speak to people, could be a small group, could be many people, I'm not afraid, because I do believe that I'm equipped inside for them to hear the message that whatever is planted inside of me that they need to get. And I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So when I get on the mat, my face lights up, because it's a world where I can release everything inside of me that may be stress, and it's okay.
I listen to you and I hear assertiveness, I hear confidence. And if I may indulge a metaphor, I think of a flame that has no fear of any wind, because this flame knows that any gust would just make it burn brighter and stronger. Is that how you feel sometimes?
Sometimes.
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 I know it's perhaps a little unfair to ask you which of these gives you the most satisfaction, but when you started to explain why that is difficult, that when you hear a child or see a child able to communicate after a while, and of course that process takes patience, but take us into that realm of recognition, when you realize that, oh my gosh, my patience, my compassion, my skills, my gift are responsible for this child being able to do one of the most important things any human being can do.
Yes.
What is that like for you? How are you feeling? What are you present to when this happens?
There was a time when I was very fearful. I was afraid that I wouldn't do it right, or I may not be able to catch it at the right time, or I may miss something. And then over time, as I began to release, honestly, my human flesh and embrace what's inside of me, which I consider my spiritual self, I started to understand that God uses me as a vessel. And when I see them respond to my actions, it's because He's using me as a vehicle for what is supposed to happen. So I embrace it, and I'm patient about it, because it doesn't happen all the time, and it doesn't happen at the time I would like it to happen sometimes. But maturity is really playing a great part on me, where I can now have more patience with it, because before I wanted it all to happen quickly.
So you believe that God uses you as a gift?
Yes.
You made a point just now about suspending your flesh and embracing more your spiritual being. So it gives me an opportunity to ask you this question about especially the human condition, where we have doubts at times, and fear creeps in. For those moments when you are doubtful,
Yes.
what do you use? What mechanism? What strategy? Well, let me just go straight to it. Is there a particular mantra that you use to help you to get out of that?
Yeah, I have 3 mantras that I have gathered along the way. In 3rd grade, I'm sorry, 5th grade, Miss Johnson said, she read Hallmark card, and the back of it said, when you care enough to give your very best. And then in high school, I began to a group called City Kids, and at the end of every session, they would say, keep a positive thought, because a positive thought could not be denied. We said that every single time we ended the session. Going into college was the swirl, Nike, just do it. All 3 of them have been used in my life at different points of times. When I'm doubtful, I go into those mantras. I first learn how to be still. And I shift the mindset with that, keep a positive thought, because a positive thought cannot be denied. I know that whatever I do, I'm going to give my best, regardless of whatever the result is going to be, because I've been saying that mantra since 5th grade, when you care enough to give your very best.
What are people usually surprised to learn about you when they get to know you?
That I love soca and I enjoy whining. I love carnival. I hear soca and it just lights up my day, my light. When people see me in a professional scene, they don't know that I also like to have fun and party, and I'm a music lover, just like my mom and my dad.
Are you a workaholic, or have you achieved a good work-leisure balance?
Oh, Selwyn.
Yes, I have to ask that.
I take a lot of breaks. I make sure to take at least 1 weekend out of every month and either go somewhere or not do anything. So a lot of people ask me, why do I travel so much? Why do I go to so many carnivals? Why do I enjoy leaving? Because those are my breaks from life, from people, from the phone, from the stress of the things that I have to do. But when I'm here, I'm on.
Present.
I'm on. Now the balance usually goes between work and family. And I had to release the whole concept of balance. Balance cannot exist. It does not occur. For me, there is absolutely no way I'm going to have 20 hours a day to work and 20 hours a day to spend with my family. It can't happen that way. But what I can do is make the 12 hours of work that I do and maybe the 3 hours I have with my family the richest 3 hours that I can give. So therefore, it may not be balanced by time, but it's more, like Lisa Nichols will say, it's harmony. It's trying to make it work with each other. I gave up trying to find balance because I realized I was going for something that just couldn't happen. I mean,
I think what I'm hearing here, and I'm going to go out on a limb, I think that balance found you, right? I think because you give up your best, and because you embrace the concept that a positive thought cannot be denied. And I think because you are so wealthy with giving so much of yourself, I think balance found you. So there is equilibrium in your life. That's just what I am thinking.
I receive it.
Right? Why did you decide to get into audiology?
Originally, I wanted to do speech pathology because I realized I was a communicator and I loved to talk. If you would check all of my report cards from 3rd grade all the way up to 10th grade, Alisha is an excellent student, but she's very talkative. So at first I thought I was going to be pre-med, going in to be a doctor, medical doctor, like what was expected out of my family. And then I decided, I took a class with the special child and I was introduced to all these therapies. And Speech therapy was like, oh, I like to talk. Speech therapy, that's what it is. Applied to speech therapy program, I didn't get it. So I said, okay, they have an audiology program. I like sciences. I do well in sciences. I mean, science is my strength. Why not try audiology? So I applied to the program for audiology because it was my backup plan. Then I fell in love with audiology, and I didn't realize I would have.
What is it exactly, an audiologist?
An audiologist is a doctor for people with hearing difficulties. We work on hearing improvements with hearing aids. We do hearing tests. We can work with equilibrium, with vertigo. We basically are there to help with any hearing impairments. We do the technical side of the hearing impairments as opposed to the otolaryngologist, ENT, who will be the scientific doctor aspect of it, the medical doctor of it. So we do the testing.
And for those who are interested in becoming an audiologist, what do they have to study?
You have to do your pre classes, I guess. What do you call those again? The classes you need to get into the program. And prerequisites, thank you. The prerequisites. It's about 20 credits of classes that you need to do for your prerequisites if you did not do an undergraduate in speech therapy or audiology. So I didn't. My bachelor's was in social sciences. So I went back to school to take these prerequisites while all of my friends were on their way to their masters. And I went back and then applied to schools. It's a very difficult program to get into because there are not that many of us. So our program only had 6 to 8 acceptances. But it probably had 50 people that applied at that time.
Wow.
Speech therapy, on the other hand, has over 500 people applying, and they only accepted 30 people. So they're very competitive fields. You'll do a master's program, and now audiology is now a doctoral program. So then you'll continue for the 4 years with a doctorate.
What gives you, I kind of figure what you're going to say, but what gives you the greatest satisfaction in this particular field? Let me tweak this question a different way, because you did mention about seeing children, when you consider that you didn't get into pathology,
Initially.
Right, speech pathology, initially, and now that here you are, and you're making such a difference in people's lives, what gratifies you?
That I'm doing what I was supposed to do.
I like that.
There's a reason why I did not get into speech pathology initially. There's a reason why my path was to do audiology, because it's something that there are not that many African Americans and Caribbean Americans out there doing. So there's a reason why my path was taken that way. Now, I told you about my strong-willedness, right?
Yes.
So I made sure when I finished with audiology, I was blessed enough to make an impact with myself, proving myself in that program, that they asked me, would I like to continue and do dual certification? Not many people do dual certification, not in Brooklyn College, where we are of the minority. However, I took a class where, with audiology, you have to take a few speech pathology classes because they work together as communication. And I had to see students as a lab class. And because I engaged so well with people, the professor was like, well, why aren't you doing speech pathology? And I said, because I didn't get in. She said, we'll do something about that. I said, okay.
Wow.
And she said, I think you should consider, and this is Patty Bottino, I should mention her as one of the most influential ladies to my career.
What's her name?
Patty Bottino. She's a speech pathologist, and she recommended, she says, that's your gift, you're good with kids, I need you to stay the extra year. And I remember going to my mom and I'm like, an extra year? Like, I'm finished, I can't do any more studying. And she was like, this opportunity does not happen to everyone. You would be a fool to say no.
Sound advice.
And I stayed. So that's how I got dual certified.
You're also an author.
Yeah.
And mother. How has motherhood changed you as a professional?
I'll be honest. Motherhood initially for me was hard. It was very, very hard balancing working with children and then coming home to your own child. I felt like I gave so much of myself at work, and then I would come home and I just wouldn't have that much energy inside of me when he was younger. And this was also during the time when he was being diagnosed and wasn't sleeping much and dealing with a lot of the things that children on the spectrum have. And I remembered going through that phase where I asked God, like, why? You know, was this a curse? Hence the reason Amazing Gift came out, because I went through that stage where I questioned, why weren't things going smoothly? Things are supposed to go smoothly. And motherhood initially was rough. And as he got older and I began to see the fruits of my labor, is the best way to say it, or he began to unfold into his own little unique person, it became so cool just watching him unfold. And then I began to see what it was like to have a person that came out of you develop into their own selves.
You're quite introspective, and I like that. When you look back on that time when you were having challenges, how do you describe it?
It was rough. It was hard because I couldn't figure it out. And I'm so used to figuring things out. You know, like I said, I've pretty much been a thinker all of my life. And compassionate, but a thinker. I think it's like a balance of myself. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, even though I knew what was going on. And I couldn't figure out a solution to what was going on. And I knew there was a quote-unquote solution. So it was a stage of uncertainty. It was a stage where I questioned myself a lot. And the person that I had built myself up into was a place where could have been lost.
Let's take a break.